interviewed Matt Dickinson, journalist, filmmaker and author, to find out about his career. Matt has travelled to the summit of Everest and worked on movies such as Cloud Cuckoo Land. He has also written books such as The Everest Files and Mortal Chaos.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
How are you all?
I'm good. Thank you for being with us today.
A pleasure, an absolute pleasure. Right, who'd like to start?
What inspired you to take on Everest?
Well, I think I've always had an interest in the mountains. It's always been something I've wanted to do, and ever since I was about 12 years old, it was something that I liked the idea of.
What goes through your mind when you're up at the top of Everest?
What goes through your mind at the top of Everest is like, help! You're thinking, I want to get out of here. It's a very dangerous place, and you are aware of the dangers of getting down. So there's a lot of excitement, a lot of adrenaline, but at the same time a lot of fear, because you're actually thinking, my goodness, I'm in a place now which, things could go wrong.
Which has been your favourite book to write and why?
I think my favourite book of all to write has been Mortal Chaos, and that was a book which took me 10 years to write, so it was a massive project, a really huge project, and then because it was so complicated, because it was so difficult, and it took me so many goes to do it, I think that has become my favourite book, just because of the amount of determination it took to write it.
Can you tell us about your experience of the avalanche?
Well, when we did get in an avalanche, that was a very dangerous experience. We were climbing in Antarctica, and we saw an avalanche coming towards us, and I thought we were going to be killed. I thought we were going to be wiped out. Luckily, the avalanche just missed us, but it went over the tops of our heads, in fact. So we were very, very fortunate.
What advice would you give to aspiring authors?
The advice I would give to aspiring authors is do things, have experiences. Obviously, it's important to read. So aspiring authors should be reading as widely as they can to learn about other writers and what they're doing. But then the most important thing of all is to do stuff. Get experiences that are unusual, do things which are challenging, have fun and do adventures.
What would be your next step?
My next step will be to write a successful book, a book that actually sells lots. To be a successful author, you have to sell hundreds of thousands of books.
Can you tell us some of the other documentaries you have been a part of?
Yeah, so I've made films in Africa, I've made films in Alaska, in the North American continent, I've made films in South America, in fact in many places in the world. Well, my favourite films would be the film I made on Everest, which is obviously a favourite for me because that got me to the top, and then in Antarctica where we explored some unclimbed mountains for the first time, which was great.
What age did you start climbing and what gave you the drive to start? I
was inspired by books. I think books were the reason why I started to get interested in climbing. And that's where my journey began, through reading, in fact.
Do you feel you're successful?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a successful person from the point of view of being a happy person. I think I'm a very balanced person. I'm a really lucky person in many ways because, I feel I'm quite a grounded type of individual. I don't, suffer from much self-doubt. There's things about my life that other people would find very difficult to deal with. I don't own a house, I don't own a car, I'm not someone that wants possessions in my life, and that sometimes creates problems, but I want experiences in my life to do expeditions, and that's what I do.
How long does it usually take to climb Everest?
The whole journey is about 10 weeks in all, which is quite a long trip, isn't it? And so in those 10 weeks you have lots and lots of adventures.
How do you push through your worst times?
Pushing through the worst times is actually quite tough, isn't it? I think you do need resilience, you do need a sense of determination, you definitely need a sense of not giving up, and that's the most important thing of all, isn't it?
Despite all the risks, why do you choose to climb mountains again and again?
I think it is fun, it is a challenge, but the main reason I go so often, I think, is because I really enjoy the teamwork. I love being with the teams, that's actually really great.
What did your family and friends think and feel about your achievement?
I think some of them are quite jealous of what I do, because I do lead quite an unusual life. I am quite active in what I do.
Thank you so much, Matt, for being with us today.
It's an absolute pleasure, it's been really great. Thank you very much.
Hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.